So we've seen variables in JavaScript. We're now going to look at arrays. Arrays are very similar to variables, but they allow you to store several different values within the same object. So within the same array, essentially. Now this sounds a bit weird until you see how it works. So let's see how this might work. So first I'm going to define my array. So let's call it my array, like that. And I'm going to call it new array, like this. So this is the basic way in JavaScript to define an array. You just create a variable as before, so var, call it whatever you like, and then make it equal to new array, like that. And then we can set specific values of the array to have values of their own. So let's say we want some different types of food. So we can set my array 0 to pizza using those square brackets there, and my array 1 to chocolate. Okay, hopefully that gives you the basic idea. So my array can have lots and lots of different values, an infinite number of values, each of which can be set to a value of their own. So my array 0, my array 1, etc., etc. So you might use this to list all of the users that are registered on your database, or all of the divs in a particular web page, or whatever it might be. There are lots and lots of different uses for arrays. Let's just see how we might use it in some code. So what have we got here? We've got our input and our value, so let's get rid of our input because we're not talking about that at the moment. So we've got our button ID and just some text. So maybe we want to change the text to the value of my array 0, that is pizza, when the button is clicked. So we don't need this anymore. And we just want to say, so when the button is clicked, we want to get the first div by its ID, and we want to set the inner HTML to my array 0. That should set it equal to pizza. Let's see. It does. Fantastic. And similarly, we can change it to my array 1, which would change it to chocolate. Great. Okay, just something to point out at this stage. With a variable, if you want to know at any time what the value of that variable is, it's quite easy to find out. You just display it or set the inner HTML of some div to that value. With an array, it's not quite so straightforward because you can't show all of the values of an array. So at this point, we'll introduce something called console log. So what I'm going to do is log all the values of my array in what's called the console. So we've created a new array called my array. We've set the value of my array 0 to pizza and the value of my array 1 to chocolate. And now we've logged in the console the value of my array. Now if I run that, nothing happens. So where did this log take place? Well, in any browser, in the developer section of that browser, you can see the console. So if we have a look here, you'll notice that it's displayed our array there. So there it is. It's an array which has a value of 2. That means that there's 2 different values stored within that array, one of pizza and one of chocolate. So console log is really handy if you want to, if you're doing some debugging or developing a page and you want to see what the value of a variable or an array is at any given point, or just to leave a message for yourself. You can log it in the console and then you'll be able to see it there, but it won't actually be displayed on the page. Now it's worth noting a couple of other ways that we can create arrays and one or two other things that we can do with them. So first of all, I'll show you a shorthand way of creating an array. So underneath this console log, I'm going to create another array, but this time I'm going to define it straight away. So I'm not going to just call it a new array and then put some values in. I'm going to put some values in straight away. So what we do is, so my other array equals, and then we open the square brackets and put our different values in double quotes. So rain, sunshine for this one. There we go. So my other array is rain and sunshine. So the first value, the 0 value, will be rain and the 1 value will be sunshine. Let's just have a look in the log. Make sure that that's worked. My other array. And just to avoid confusion, I'll get rid of this line. So we've only got one console log. Okay. So now if we refresh the page, you can see it's displayed rain and sunshine there. Okay, I'm now going to show you a couple of other techniques to add and remove elements from arrays. The first one is push, which is a very simple command which allows you to add an element at the end of an array. So let's see how that works. So let's say we've got rain and sunshine in our array, we want to have snow there as well. So all we do is we say my other array push snow. So that push command will add snow onto the end of the array. So the array will now be rain, sunshine, snow. Let's just see that. There we go, rain, sunshine, and snow. But what if we want to remove elements from the array? Well, let's see, we can do that as well. We use a function called splice for that. So my other array dot splice. Now remember that arrays generally start at 0. So the first item in an array is the 0th item, and then chocolate being the second item is my array 1, etc. So it starts at 0 and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 0 item here would be rain, the 1 item would be sunshine, and the other item would be the 2 item would be snow. So if we want to remove the sunshine item, then we would splice the item number 1, and we only want to remove 1 item. So we use my other array splice 1, 1. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so now sunshine's gone. If we want to remove sunshine and snow, then we would change it to my other array splice 1, 2. So we'd start at the number 1 and we remove 2 items. So that should leave us with just rain. There we go. We can also use the splice command to add in elements in the middle of the array. The push command is great for adding elements at the end, but we might want to add an element in the middle of an array. So let's say we want to add an element after the rain item and before the sunshine item. So what we'll say is we want to add it just before sunshine, so we'll keep our number 1 because it's sunshine that we're referring to. We don't want to remove any items this time, but we do want to add one in, and we'll add hail. Okay, so this means add it just before the number 1 item, so just before sunshine. Don't remove any, so a 0 there, and then the item that we want to add is hail. Let's just see what that does. Great, so we've got our hail in there before the sunshine. If we wanted the hail after sunshine, then we'd just change that to a number 2. See how that works? So now we've got rain, sunshine, hail, and snow. We can add more than 1 item in. Call it cloudy. And then we've got hail and cloudy both added there. So the splice command is quite powerful if you want to manipulate arrays. The last thing I'm going to show you is the length command, which can be useful. If you've created an array and you don't know how long that array is, how many elements it's got in it, then you can use the array.length command, and let's just see what that does. There we go. It's return the number 5 because there are 5 elements in that array: rain, sunshine, snow, hail, and cloudy.